Kia ora, good evening, and welcome to episode 121 of the Huddy Hui, and it's post-Jubilee Cup final, and what a final it was on Saturday. In particular, three finals we broadcast on that day: Hardham, the Colts, and then the big one, the Jubilee Cup, that lived up to its height. And of course, our guest played in that final, and we'll get to one of those most spectacular moments of that finals very soon. Gareth Ward-Allen is our guest on the Huddy Hui tonight. Gareth, congratulations on winning the Jubilee Cup in the weekend. How were the celebrations? Are they still going?
No, thank you very much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. It was a great final, and it was a great day or two afterwards. They were going a few nights ago, but we've kind of settled a wee bit now.
Yes, I remember back in 2021 when Tawa won it, they were still going to Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't think the body would have held up to that one.
No, exactly. So let's talk about the dying stages of that final. It is you're ahead, and you're on the try line in the 83rd minute with Tawa hot on attack, and the Billy Goats are down to 14 players. What was going through your mind?
All I knew is we just had to defend. At that stage, we kind of realised that a penalty wasn't going to do it, and we just had to throw our bodies on the line, just do as much as we could, just so they didn't cross that white line.
Describe the emotions when Tawa knocked the ball on over the line.
Well, I was still getting out of a scrum, so I wasn't really too sure what was going on. My head was a bit full of blood at that stage from trying to push and not concede a penalty there. But got up and we turned around and everyone's going wild. I was still trying to catch my breath from the run a couple of minutes earlier. And it was just a bit of a blur, to be honest.
The moment of the game was a big one. It came in the second half with about 10 to go. Tell us about that break that set up the match-winning try. Talk us through the moment of that game.
I don't think there's a whole lot going on for the head in that moment in time, to be honest. Jack Riley gave me the old inside ball, and I just pinned the ears, and I somehow managed to stay on my feet. And when I looked up and saw the fullback ahead, I just thought, oh, why not? Let's try and skin him on the outside. Somehow, and we got close. Didn't quite get there, but yeah, I got close.
Very close indeed. And of course, Tawa finally getting over to score a try. He got denied his first one. What was your thoughts on that?
I couldn't really tell. I was kind of a few meters behind when that try happened. But watching the videos, it was hard. The refs had to make a decision, and they made one in the end. And yeah, I'm glad he got his try in the end.
Now, of course, Tawa, who you played 3 weeks ago and lost 31-30. Tell us about that Tawa side, because you, as the Billy Goats, had to put in some serious amount of tackling, particularly in that second half.
Yeah, that Tawa side's a big one. They definitely had a few extra kilos on us, and with a few of their big names being Super Rugby players, it is a wee bit intimidating seeing that on the opposite team. But the boys just really fronted up. Tawa boys didn't give up the ball, and they had to make us earn the right to play with it, and they certainly did that. They're a large side.
You mentioned they had a few Super Rugby players. What was it like going up against Siali Lawaki and PJ Sheck at scrum time?
Oh, all you can do is just put your head down and push. Try and keep your feet. Try not to give a penalty away, and just give it a good crack and see where it ends up. See where you end up.
Only 2 losses this season, Batoni and Tawa. What has been the key to the old boys' dominance this season?
Oh, I think it was definitely the team environment that the coaches created this year. we were one herd, as they like to say, and we were a brotherhood by the end of it. Definitely. I don't think we would have done it if we had any other group, and if the group wasn't as close as it was, I don't think we would have gone with just those 2 losses this season. But the boys really wanted it this year, and they showed why.
The coaching staff, how have they been influential this season?
Oh, they've been massive this year. They've really created an inclusive culture at the OBU club, and you could see that by the results, not only with the Prems but the Prems 2s as well. They've really fostered a tight group of 60 boys, and yeah, we wouldn't have done it without the coaches or the Prem 2s either.
You mentioned about the Prem 2s, great depth at the club this season, with the Prem reserves also winning the first round and their final as well against Tawa. Tell us about the depth at Old Boys University.
Oh, the depth this year was incredible. I think half, if not all of those Prem 2 boys, if not played in the team, they could have played there. As they showed us at trainings, they would beat us at lineouts. They'd make us work for our spots, not only in the Prem side, but if some of the boys dropped down, they'd have to work to get their spot there as well. And at the trainings, if that wasn't from them, our lineout wouldn't have been where it was. Same with the scrums. Our scrums wouldn't have been where they were if it wasn't for those Prem 2 boys kind of giving it back to us. So we have to put a great amount of respect on what they did for us.
And you mentioned about the competitive nature for spots. Tell us about the front row players at the club, because there's some good players alongside you that didn't make that 22 on Saturday.
Yeah, it was tight coming into the squad at the start of the year, being first year in Wellington, and looking around and seeing 6 other quality props that very easily could have played in the Premier squad. From the first game, I got an opportunity and I just ran with it, and I haven't looked back. But those other boys in the squad, they're quality players.
As you mentioned, it was your debut year in the capital city. Who was your debut against, and how was it?
Debut this year was against Johnsonville, and I came off the bench with about 10 minutes into the second half. I feel like I scrummed well, ran pretty well, and must have done well enough to kind of get my spot for the next week against Wainui.
Swindell and Jubilee Cup in 2024. What has been your highlight of the season?
Oh, I think my highlight this season was getting an opportunity to show myself. Got a chance to play Premier Rugby, and took that chance, and reaping awards from it now. Not only with all the trophies and the silverware that we collected this year, but bit of the reputation that comes along with those results and playing in those big games, being able to prove yourself.
Callum Harkin, of course, he's your team's first 5. He's previously been a guest on the Huddy Hui. He was named the Jim Brown Player of the Final. How great is it to have a class player like Callum Harkin running the team from fly half?
Oh, Callum Harkin had an amazing year this year. He kicked like no one else in the competition, not only in field with his bombs and his penalty kicking, but conversion from the side, scoring points for everywhere in the field, and his ability to make space like we saw in the first minute of the game with the ball or with his passing game is absolutely incredible.
And of course, that great work has seen him reselected into the Wellington Lions, alongside a few others in the Premier side.
Yeah, KP and Mitch, great halfbacks, and yeah, they also led from the front and driving the team throughout the season, giving us good go forward ball, just sniping around the rucks and taking any space that the opposition may have given us.
Another leader in the team is your captain, Louis Calvert. Tell us about him as a leader.
Oh, Louis is a great man. He's a great leader. He certainly tries to lead from the front, and he puts his body on the line every single game. It's been an honour to scrum next to him, and we've put in some good efforts, and played the full 80 a good couple of times together as well. And yeah, we just put it down and just give it a good crack. And I'm excited to continue playing with him for the rest of this season.
Who are some of the characters in the Old Boys University Premier side?
Dougal's definitely got to be a bit of a character. He's a tough Australian man, and he just gives it like he sees it, very straight up, and just will have a go at you. Good lad.
How did your journey to Old Boys University come about this year?
So I've been down in Dunedin for the past 4 years and played for varsity down there, and gave rugby a good crack, playing for the Prem Colts and kind of in and out of the Prem side. Last year I had a year off from rugby and asking around at the club, where should I go to in Wellington? And a few of the boys were, head along the Old Boys, head up there, turn around the pre-season and haven't looked back, to be honest.
And how have you found the rugby in Wellington compared to Dunedin?
It's a different game, eh? It's a bit hard because I never really played a whole lot of Premier rugby down there, but from the sidelines it looks a lot more physical, bit of a slower game. It's definitely a lot quicker up here. I'd say the ball skills are probably a wee bit more, and the pace of the game's played at a much higher rate. It's a bit hard to compare the two, to be honest.
And what did you study down at Otago University? What is your degree in?
So I studied a Bachelor of Physiotherapy down there.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
And of course you mentioned you played for varsity there in Otago. How did you have much opportunity to play for the top team?
I think I may have played 2 games off the bench for the top team down there. I spent a lot of the time just kind of being a bit of a filler, to be honest. Playing where I need to be, playing in the front row, playing a bit of Lucy for the second team down there, just a bit short on numbers and never really got an opportunity to show what I could do for the Prem side down there.
Has prop always been your main position in rugby?
Oh, no. I got moved to prop in year 13 while at Tauranga Boys. Before then, I was a bit more of a flanker. So like to get my hands dirty, like to run with the ball and try and be a presence on the field. And it wasn't until I gained a fair few kilos in year 13, put on a wee bit of size, and the coaches thought, give me a go on the front row and see how it went.
And I think that's why we can see that sharing pace like you had in the final on Saturday. Now, of course, let's talk about Otago University in general. One, stay on Castle Street, and 2, the Jabuna couch.
No, we won't make a comment about burning a couch though, to be honest. Not quite Castle Street. Stayed on Hyde Street for a couple of years, and yeah, that was a good time. A few memories and a few lost ones there too.
Yeah. What has been your best rugby story today?
I gotta say that that run on Saturday is probably up there, to be honest. I'd say not a lot's probably topping that. Not only the occasion, but how the impact it had on the game and the result afterwards.
Have you ever played in a final in an atmosphere like that at all in your rugby career?
Not in my rugby career. I've won the World Championships in underwater hockey, so I guess that's got similar level of atmosphere and pressure. But that was the first for rugby, to be honest.
Yeah, where were those world champs for underwater hockey, and what year?
So that was last year. It's the reason why I took a bit of a hiatus from underwater hockey, from rugby, sorry. We played over in the Gold Coast last year, about this time last year, so it's about a year ago since we won that. And that involved, a full year of training, unable to play rugby, just risk of injury, and just needed 100% commitment, to be honest.
Tell us about the sport that is underwater hockey. It's known as being one of the best spectator sports.
Yeah, not quite on that last comment there. It's getting a wee bit better. But yeah, underwater hockey's a bit of a strange sport, to be honest. Got a bit a lead puck that kind of floats around, well, not floats around, slides around the bottom of a 2 meter pool. You play with a bit of a water polo cap, a free diving mask and snorkel, and then a pair of fins as well. You have a stick that's probably about 30 centimeters long, and a silicone glove that you wear to protect the hands. 6 people each side, and the aim is to slide that little puck into a 3 meter long goal at the end of the game.
Many wouldn't think that it'd be such quite a, one would say, violent sport, but you can get some pretty interesting injuries in underwater hockey, can't you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I've had my fair share of bleeding nose and split eyebrows. There's the occasional concussion going, and burst my eardrum a couple of times as well. So there's a few injuries going on with that sport.
And what's the training in particular? Because you're having to spend a fair amount of time underwater. Do you do a lot of sort of lung training, particularly underwater?
Yeah, so the reason why I'd put my fitness down to is underwater hockey training, to be honest. You can't play if you're on the surface, so you need to be holding your breath and then on the bottom of the pool if you want to play at all. So a lot of it's kind of doing a length underwater, having a breath or two, doing another length under the water, and just repeating, holding your breath while actually doing work.
Tell us about some of the dark arts of underwater hockey that you've brought to rugby.
Oh, there's not a lot you could bring to rugby, to be honest. The dark arts of rugby well exceed those of the underwater hockey, but get the old speedo pull if you want, get the old elbows in, bit of a shoulder charge as well.
Yeah. Now let's look at you're here in Wellington. You're playing rugby for Old Boys University. Where are you working at the moment?
Oh, so at the moment I'm working for a small little physiotherapy clinic in town called Dolman Physiotherapy. He took me on at the start of the year, and yeah, Tim's been great for me. He's helped me along in my career. He's enabled me to play rugby, and he's given me time off that I needed to go play, and take time off in the future to go help out with the Centurions coming up as well.
Yes, and congratulations with the Centurions selection. Did you find out on Sunday like everyone else? And what does the tour involve with Centurions this year?
I had a wee bit of a inside informant let me know and asking me if I wanted to get in. I think Bug let me know a wee bit early, but that I'm really looking forward to that. It's my first time being with a high performance rugby squad, and we got 6 games coming up. The first of which is next weekend up in Whanganui, and then we have 5 others kind of coming from Christchurch all the way to Hawke's Bay that we're going to be playing.
Oh, that's terrific, and congratulations as well. There's a number of Old Boys University players in that Centurions as well. Let's look back in time. Where did your rugby journey begin for you?
Oh, I'd say my rugby journey would have had to begin at a small club in Bay of Plenty called Eastern Districts, or ED. Dad was a player out there, and I spent many of moons sleeping under the tables at the rugby club and running around with all the other kids there. Progressed through to playing young age group stuff for Breed and Marist up in Tauranga as well. And then moved on to Tauranga Boys, where didn't really play for the top teams, played for kind of the C's and B's type teams, and carried on all the way through Tauranga Boys from the kind of under 14 C's to making the first 15s in my final year.
And let's talk about Tauranga Boys. It's a school that is a sporting factory. It's produced many such players like Kane Williamson. I think Sam Kane may have gone there too as well from memory. Yep. But let's talk about Tauranga Boys as a school. It's a sporting factory, but it's also quite good academically as well.
Yeah, it most certainly is. It's they're starting to churn out a lot more rugby players now that we've kind of changed all the the first 15 rules, and we can see that with the first 15 this year. They're doing absolutely amazing this year.
Yeah, top of the charts in Super 8, yeah.
Yeah, first time we probably beat Hamilton boys twice in a row, so that's something positive to see.
And I see they've already, well, they only got a round to go, but they've already pretty much qualified top and will host the final. How special will that be to have the Super 8 final at Tauranga?
Oh, that'd be absolutely incredible. I don't think they've won the Super 8 since 2008, to be honest. So I remember my coach was in the squad where they last played in the Super 8 final, and that was in 2018, so he's well and truly moved on.
And who was your coach in 2018 at the time?
Oh, that was Dan Goodwin.
Mm.
He was an ex-Northland player, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think he played for a few others, I'm not sure.
Besides Hamilton boys, what are some of the main rugby fixtures that Tauranga boys play against?
I got to say the big one's got to be Rotorua boys. Just the wee trip across the little gully. That's filled with fights every year, and everyone's really excited to get one up over Rotorua boys, to be honest.
What has been your best game of rugby at Tauranga Boys High School?
Oh, that's jogging the memory a wee bit. One doesn't really pop to mind, to be honest. Yeah, I think we kind of came middle of the pack. I think, there wasn't anything that stands out too well, to be honest.
Now, of course, is there any, besides underwater hockey and rugby, have you played any other sports during your sporting career?
Oh, I've dabbled in a few, to be honest. Ended up winning the social water polo comp last year at Dunedin.
Oh, yes.
That was a good laugh. Yeah. Played a bit of social hockey at high school as well. Ended up winning that competition too.
Yep.
Apart from that, played a wee bit of water polo as well.
Oh, yes.
And,
did you ever go to the nationals at all for Tauranga?
Not for any of those sports. It was all social. But nationals was mainly your underwater hockey and rugby for me.
Now, despite you've got the Centurions coming up, and that's a great success for you considering the season you had, what are your plans for the off-season?
Oh, for the off-season, I think I might need to put on a wee bit more size, to be honest, if I need to stay competitive at Premier Rugby. But I definitely think need to maintain this fitness and probably build on it a wee bit more, to be honest. Make myself feel a wee bit more comfortable.
Who have been some of the key influences or role models in your rugby journey?
Oh, I'd say, definitely my father would have been one. Kind of my love for rugby is driven from him, and just being around that culture, that family environment, which is kind of your traditional rugby club. That's probably where the love for rugby comes from, and then kind of how can't you love rugby if you're a Kiwi, to be honest. National sport, and gives everyone so much pride and enjoyment from playing it.
Who's the toughest player you've played with and against?
Oh, I got to say the toughest player I played against was Nathan Harris when I was 12. Playing Golden Oldies and looking up and seeing him there was certainly extremely daunting. But some of the toughest players I've played with, we got a few playing kind of Super Rugby now. So we have like the Vinny Lasanga and Josh Bartlett played with them at high school as well. They're certainly tough players, and yeah.
Well, Gareth, well done yet again for your efforts on Saturday in that Jubilee Cup final. It was one of the best to call. I think I nearly lost my voice after you had that break and led to Taipo's try. But all the best with the Centurions program and the rest of the year. Go well, and we'll probably see you around the traps in the rep season or next year.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
That is Gareth Ward-Allen, who was our guest tonight on the Huddy Hui. He scored an impressive try in that final that set up Tawa. We'll show the highlights of those final at the end of this Huddy Hui tonight. So many thanks to Gareth Ward-Allen coming on the Hui tonight. Well, it's a pretty quiet weekend of rugby. We've got one more round of the Wellington First 15 Premiership, and well, depending on the results last week, Wellington College only scraped past against Hibs, and then Scots only bet Tawa by 1 last week. That was a interesting result indeed. So there are 2 games here that could be rather interesting this weekend. In particular, Wellington College play host to Tawa College, and if Tawa do what they did last Saturday, well, who knows what could happen. Silverstream take on Paraparaumu at home, and that would be for Silverstream pretty comfortably. They've already booked themselves a home semi-final, and they'll more than likely play St. Pat's Town, all going to plan next Saturday. Wairarapa College play Rongotai College over the hill in Marston. Scots play St. Bernard's, and that's out at Scots. And then Town versus Hibs. So the top 4's been decided pretty much. And, you know, Hibs, of course, pushed Wellington College quite late last week. They led for most of the way. So can they do the same against St. Pat's Town, who are coming off a bit of a 50-point drubbing from Silverstream on traditional day last Wednesday? So that's one more round to go in the First 15 Premiership before the semi-finals next Saturday. And, of course, the Wellington Lions have a pre-season game this Friday from memory. They're playing Manawatu at Rugby League Park, so that will be a good battle indeed to see what this young and experienced Wellington Lions side will look like. They look very promising. And also on behalf of Wellington Rugby, who we were lucky to broadcast the Wellington finals last Saturday, many thanks to Tony Giles and Max Rogers and co, who did a great job out there at Jerry Collins Stadium on Saturday. Lions and Wellington Pride memberships are on sale now, so the Wellington Lions season officially kicks off on the 18th, which of course the curtain raiser for that game is going to be the boys' First 15 final. So that will be a big day indeed to kick off the home season for the Wellington Lions as well. Well, that has been the Huddy Hui for tonight. We're going to be back next Wednesday, and we've already got our guest lined up for next Saturday. It's a young man called Adam McRandall, who played mostly for Pōneke in the Premier side this year, and he's come a long way, this young man, and he's got a promising career if he can keep at it. So Adam McRandall from Pōneke will be our guest on the Hui next week on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. And as always, to keep Huddy Sports free and on YouTube, and to make sure we bring you good quality pictures, always on the lookout for supported sponsors. So head to huddysports.co.nz, to our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, or send us an email at huddysportsnz@gmail.com. Well, we'll finish the Hui tonight looking at the highlights of the Jubilee Cup final. And, gee, they were some impressive tries in this final. Many thanks to Gareth Ward-Allen for being our guest on the Hui. I'm Brad Hudson. Sit back, watch and listen to the highlights of the 2024 Jubilee Cup final. Jubilee Cup final action here at Jerry Collins Stadium. It is Old Boys University taking on Tawa. These two teams played each other 3 weeks ago. It was a 31 points to 30 win for Tawa over Old Boys University in a blockbuster game. Expect much the same here at Jerry Collins this afternoon. Fed in by Cole Preston, passes it out to Callum Harkin. Harkin cuts through! He could have the first try! He gives it out to Yad Lovers! And we have the first try of the Jubilee Cup final at 1:15. They have to charge again. 2 away. Joiner Nolofa!
Oh, he's held up. Oh, has he scored? I think he's scored.
I think he's got that down. We're going to have a Royal Commission into this try.
Union meeting. They're going to award a try here, Brad. They do.
Try's been awarded.
Tawa find themselves on the scoreboard for the first time today.
Short.
Havanas! An excellent try there. And that is a captain's knock by Hemi for Manus.
Sure is.
He steps up in finals, folks. Charge down. Still going. Try. Folks, it's like a forensic scene. There he goes. PJ Sheck crashes over.
He's been immense today. Here's PJ Sheck.
It's been turned over.
They might go for another kick here.
Here they go. Good run! Ward-Allen! The prop! Can Ward-Allen go the way? Ward-Allen 6 metres short of the line. They're at the 22. Perez. Try! It's try for Taipo! He got denied one earlier. He's got a second try now. Off the back with Tawa.
He's lost that, I think.
He's lost it! He's lost it! It's knocked on! The ball's been knocked on! And it is full time! It is full time! And the Billy Goats have somehow won the Jubilee Cup!